Okay, guys, let's talk about the easiest way to start web dev in 2025. Now, this has changed significantly, I would say, even in the last few months, the last 6 months. Things have changed so much that I wouldn't even say that you need to know how to code anymore in order to start web dev these days. Instead, you just need to know the fundamentals, right? Now, what are the fundamentals? The first thing is tech stack, right? The second thing is Visual Studio Code. The third thing is launching slash GitHub, right? In my opinion, if you can master all of these things, you are pretty much ready for web development. Now, I'm not talking about WordPress or anything like that in this video. I'm talking about things like NextJS, etc., etc. Okay, just so you know. Now, first one, tech stack, right? You've got a few options. The best option, in my opinion, is Next.js. Second best option would be Python with Flask. You can just do HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP on its own, right? There are a few different options. You can do things like Vite, etc. I would say 99% of people that are watching this video are going to be using Next.js, okay? The reason is Next.js is a JavaScript library built on top of React, right? But with SEO improvements, a lot of SEO improvements, including things like unique paths for URLs, meaning that each page has a unique URL path route, meaning that it can rank on Google a lot better. So Next.js is probably what you're going to be wanting to use if you're looking to grow an SEO website. Generally speaking, you could try Python, you could try WordPress, like headless or whatever. However, I would argue most people are interested in Next.js. Now, the second thing you need to know about is Visual Studio Code. What is Visual Studio Code? If you open up any folder on your computer, right? Imagine if you could see this folder in a completely different way, where all of the folders are on the left, and then everything, like the back end, like the code of each file within that folder, is viewable when you click it on the left, right? That's what Visual Studio Code actually is. If you open Visual Studio Code, let's just open any folder, right? Let's just open this. I don't know what this folder is, but so this is a Python folder. So we can see inside each individual file, right? This is kind of what the point of Visual Studio Code is. The folder is still on the left, but if I click an individual file, being able to see inside that file and what's inside that file, that is the point of Visual Studio Code. The other point of Visual Studio Code is to have your command terminal inside the same window as your folder, right? Because normally what you'd have to do is you'd have to use command prompt, right? So let's say I wanted to run this specific Python folder here. I first have to cd inside hi2, and then I would have to do python hi.py, right? Which is going to start this process. However, this is the point of Visual Studio Code, is that I can also just do it here. So python hi.py, same thing happens, right? But it's together. I can see the code, the files, and what's inside the files, and also the terminal input and output all on the same window, right? That's the point of Visual Studio Code. And then the final thing, launching slash GitHub. I would say GitHub is a little bit more complicated. However, what I'm going to show you in this video, which is the easiest way to start web dev in 2025, is something called CLINE, where you won't even need to know how to use GitHub, right? So the first thing we're going to do is File, New Window, right? We're going to go to Visual Studio Code. Let's go to File, Open Folder, right? Right click here, Folder, Hello for, and then select Folder. So now we're inside this folder, right? If I go to Terminal, you'll see /income/hello4. So we go to CLINE here, and I'm going to say, make me a new Next.js 14 project, right? And I'll press enter here. What this will do is it will create a new Next.js project. Again, I'm not coding, right? I'm using language. Language. So it's now creating this project for me. If you don't know, a website is actually just a folder that is publicly accessible and acts like a website, right? Publicly accessible as in their IP is accessible from around the world from any public IP address. So anything that you can build on one folder on your computer can be uploaded to the web and can function as a website effectively, right? So if I just show you what this is, right? This has now created this project on the left. This is the Next.js project. Do not get too bogged down in this information, okay? It's actually quite simple. In the source folder, there is layout and page. On page, this is where you actually edit the home page of your website, and layout is where you edit like the CSS and things like that. So if I open up this folder here, again, you don't need to know that though, because we're actually not going to be coding in this video. We're just going to be using CLINE, right? So you can see this folder, this file, if I go to page, you'll see, for example, let's just copy something from here, save and see your changes instantly. There it is. So if I delete this, right, and then save this, and then refresh this, you'll see, bang, that is no longer there, right? So this is actually how you edit it. However, we're not going to be coding, like I said. So now I'm going to say, make me a landing page for a plumber business and a contact us page. So again, we're not coding here, right? It's doing the code for me. I'm not doing anything. And you can make this prompt on the left as complicated as you want, as easy as you want, okay? A couple of pointers I'll give you right now, okay, is try to use a earlier version of Next.js, okay? When it created this, it used create Next.js latest, so I actually have Next.js 15. I wouldn't recommend using Next.js 15. The reason is whichever AI you're using to code doesn't have the most up-to-date information on all of the documentation about Next.js 15. So if you use an earlier version of Next.js, it's going to understand the system a lot better, okay? So I do recommend having like a version of 14.2.3, 14.23.1 or something like that, right? Find a version that works for you. But this is now done. If I open this, you'll see this is, yeah, it's finished. If I click contact, same thing. There we go. In the prompt, you can add all of these numbers. You can add all these business hours. You can add the location. You can actually connect this to Supabase and things like that as well. But yeah, overall, you can see just how easy it is to start, working with AI and working with AI web dev. Now, the only other thing that we need to do now, if I go back to here, is launching, right? Now, I'm not saying this website is a good website, okay? I'm just showing you the process. So in order to launch, I highly recommend using GitHub, right? So I'm going to say that I'm just going to show you this entire process. So I'm just going to go to GitHub and I'm going to press new and I'll just call it this. And then we'll make it public, I don't really care. And then create, okay? Now I'm going to say, please push this website to this GitHub. Make sure it runs npm run build first. Okay, so effectively, the next thing we have to do to launch this is we have to do something called npm run build, right? There are two options, npm run dev and npm run build. npm run dev, what it does is it starts the server in dev environment, right? npm run build builds the server into a production environment script, okay? So you can see the build was actually not successful. So it does say it's successful here, but it actually wasn't successful. So I'm just going to quickly run this, give it the error that it didn't seem to pick up itself, and then see if we can fix the errors that's causing it not to build. Once the project builds successfully, it's ready to be launched on the internet. So we should see either A, another error here, or B, the errors have been fixed. It looks like the errors have been fixed. 6 pages generated, collecting build traces, etc. Okay, perfect. This is now a successful build, right? So now what we have to do is just, literally, I'm just going to run a command here. Okay, it didn't work because of the and statement, which doesn't work on PowerShell. So we'll run this command here. Now, Again, like I said, I'm not coding, but if I refresh this, you'll see, okay, that didn't actually work. Maybe because it's, no, it should work. Oh, I need to sign in. There we go. Okay, there we go. So now if I refresh this page, there we go. The code is now here. Okay. Once you've got the code here, you can either go to Vercel, right? Or if you don't even want to use GitHub because you don't know what the hell you're doing, we can use Netlify, right? And in order to use Netlify for this, what we can do is we can do add new site, deploy manually, browse to upload, and then we need to look for hello 4, which is inside where? I have no idea. It's inside income. So there we go. And then hello 4, there it is, and then upload. So this, yeah, you might want to delete node modules before you do that, so you know, because otherwise it's going to take a long, long time. Okay, and then the other option, like I said, was Vercel. I actually prefer Vercel, but I mean, I'm a bit more of a coder, to be honest with you. So we'll do add new project, import, and then deploy. And then that should also build, right? So let's open this up. Page not found. This one didn't work. I've never really had success with manual upload. I'm not really sure why. I mean, I've seen other people do it on YouTube. It never works for me. What works for me is GitHub for sure. You just need to know when to tell it to do certain things, right? That's the kind of the key thing here. So I know that once I've built the project to a certain standard, that's when I want to send it to GitHub, right? And then, as you can see here, we now have an instant live example of this website. We could very easily connect a domain to this, right? You literally just go to, there's a button here somewhere that says domain. Assigning custom domains, right? Manage. And then you can just add a domain here. You can buy one as well if you need to buy one, etc. So yeah, I think I'll leave the video there, guys. I just wanted to show the easiest way to get into web dev in 2025 using AI, which is just, yeah, using everything that I've just shown you on this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you are watching all the way to the end of this video, you are an absolute legend, and I'll see you very, very soon with some more content. Peace out.